This episode may contain moderately strong language and themes.
I'm Emma Clarke, a professional voiceover. Welcome to Dodgy Voiceover Direction, the podcast that revels in some of the dodgiest voiceover direction I've ever received. In my whole career. And I've been doing this for centuries.
Welcome to Dodgy Voiceover Direction with Emma Clarke.
It was a Wednesday. I remember it particularly because I was looking forward to Italian accent night here at Clark Gables. Just another way I keep the kids buoyed up during a global pandemic. Truth is, though, it turns out that Italian accent night doesn't actually cheer children up. It just makes them threaten to call childline. But as I say, it was a Wednesday, the hump of the week. And take my advice, never try to explain that term to a 15-year-old. It doesn't end well and takes far, far too long. The email arrived with a script attached. The sender, a much-loved client, wanted me to record it for him to boost sales of knitwear in the West Midlands. The majority of my professional communication happens on email these days. I know some clients so well, they just send me a script with no instructions whatsoever. They know I'll just get it done for them. Many script requests, tellingly, most often the ones that are written by the advertisers themselves and not professional copywriters, are appended by a single word. Sorry. But this one was intriguing. This is what it said. This is exactly what it said. Word for word. It was compelling.
Dear Emma Clarke, can you do West Country? You don't need to sound like a sheep. Just West Country. Like a sheep might be.
I'll level with you. This raised questions. First off, yes, of course I can do West Country. Coquettish milkmaid is one of my specialities, and yes, I have been asked to assign a West Country accent to a variety of creatures during my career, most often livestock. It's a spin-off idea of the anthropomorphisation so beloved by advertising agencies. Remember the Cadbury's Caramel Bunny from TV ads of yesteryear? That curiously curvaceous bunny was from the West Country, and in the advert's first iteration, the bunny was trying to appease a beaver via the means of confectionery. And I don't think I need to say much about Russian meerkats that try to sell you insurance. Safe to say, advertising agencies like animals. In the voiceover world, a West Country accent suggests homeliness, comfort, and a kind of agricultural quality that seeks to recreate the rustic rough and tumble of the barnyard. Could I do a West Country accent? You betcha, no question. The next bit of the request was a bit more problematic.
You don't need to sound like a sheep. Just West Country. Like a sheep might be.
Now, usually when I'm asked to be a sheep, which actually happens with alarming regularity, it's expected that I'll give the voiceover sheep-like characteristics. The way to do that is to actually make the vowels into bang sounds. You hear that, you immediately think sheep. Obvious, isn't it? But the question that floated up, like a disorientated lamb emerging from some sheep dip, was this. Do sheep have regional accents? My client was clearly a believer. To be fair, this is not the utter bollocks it first seems. In 2006, the Canine Behaviour Centre in Cumbria carried out a study which suggested that dogs mimic the accent of their owners. The logical conclusion, therefore, is, why not sheep too? I'm sure lots of farmers speak to their flock. Why wouldn't sheep cotton on to an accent? Why wouldn't they mimic it? So I read the script with full-on West Country peppered with all the ovine characteristics I could muster with my mouth. As an alternative, though, I did provide other accents, just in case. I never know what my client's client is going to say when they hear audio I've delivered, and I like to have every base covered. So I offered Yorkshire, Scottish, Welsh, and for the sheer hell of it, Scouse. I also, with an eye to my clients, you don't need to sound like a sheep. In some of the reads I provided, I omitted the baaing sounds, but that gave the recording a morose, aimless quality, because in that iteration, the listener wouldn't know I was being a sheep, and the copy wouldn't make any sense whatsoever. I'd just sound like a sad woman who was, for reasons unknown, going to be shaved so that people could wear cardigans. I sent the audio off. The next day, I received a reply. "You give good sheep, Clarkie," wrote my client. "Thanks," I replied with a winking emoji. One of the consequences of the pandemic is that I've started using emojis in my emails. I'm not sure how or when this began. If I've ever done it to you, just know it's something I'm dealing with. In case you're wondering, since that commercial, the same client has asked me to be an alpaca with a black country accent, a depressed dog from Lancashire, and some woodworm. Origin unknown.
You've been listening to Dodgy Voiceover Direction with Emma Clarke. Rate the show, write us a review, and tell your friends. Thanks for listening.
That's it for this episode of Dodgy Voiceover Direction. Find out more about me and my work at emmaclarke.com. There's an E on the end of Clarke, by the way. Listen to my stuff, read my blog, and if you want to know more, sign up for my newsletter. If you enjoyed this show, give us a rating, hopefully a good one, and leave a review, and tell your mates. If you find me endlessly fascinating, unlikely I know, but a girl can hope, you can check out the music I write. See, I'm also a classical composer. And the music podcasts I make, Before the Bar Opens and the title track. All my music stuff is at ebclarke.com. See you next time on Dodgy Voiceover Direction.